Hello everybody, my name is Mike Tomorrow and I want to welcome you to the latest episode of My Life with Asperger's. Today, you know what we're going to do? We're going to talk about eye contact. Now, we talked about manners on the last video and I didn't get to tell you about eye contact, but that is a very hard topic for me to talk about, but I'll talk about it anyways because it's a very important topic. And I know some of us Aspies and autistic people and all that have a hard time doing eye contact. Like if somebody's talking to you, it's hard to give eye contact to somebody, you know? It's like you gotta give eye contact. It's like, look me in the eye, you know? And it's like, it's hard for me to do that. Now, like when I go for interviews, it's hard for me to give eye contact. Now, that's very important to do. Now, I'm giving you eye contact here on the video camera and doing the video. But may you not notice that when I see you in public or when I see you in person, that do I give you eye contact? Maybe, maybe not. It's very hard for me to stay focused and to give eye contact. Now, I should have talked about this when I was doing the video about manners, but I feel that I forgot all about it. So that's why I'm going to do it on a separate video. Now, most people, when you're teaching your children, it's like you gotta have them look you into the eye, and that way they can listen to what you have to say, and you can teach them that eye contact is very important for you, because if you do not have eye contact, then you're going to lack the skill to have eye contact. That what's going to happen when somebody wants to talk to you, or when you want to talk to somebody and they're not going to pay attention to you, you know? You got to have eye contact. I know that if someone wants me to pay attention to them, they want me to have their eyes, my eyes on their eyes. Look them in the eye, you know? Now, the definition of eye contact is a meeting of the eyes between two individuals. In human beings, eye contact is a form of nonverbal communication and is thought to have a large influence on social behavior. Coined in the early to mid 1960s, the term has come in the West to often define the act as a meaningful and important sign of confidence and social communication. The customs and significance of eye contact vary between cultures, with religious and social differences often altering its meaning greatly. The study of eye contact is sometimes known as OCULESICS. Osculus. I'm not going to say it, but I spelled it, so. Alright. Social meanings of eye contact. Eye contact and facial expressions provide important social and emotional information. People, perhaps without conscious, I don't know how to say the word. I'm going to spell it out. CONSCIOUSLY. Doing so, probe each other's eyes and face for positive or negative mood signs. In some contexts, the meaning of eyes arouses strong emotions. Eye contact is also an important element in flirting, where it may serve to establish and gauge the other's interest in some situations. Mutual eye contact that singles attraction initially begins as a brief glance and progresses into a repeated volleying of eye contact, according to Beverly Palmer, PhD, and professor of psychology at California State University, Dominguez Hills. In process of civil intention, strangers in close proximity, such as a crowd, avoid eye contact in order to help maintain their privacy. Now here's what I was talking about with the parent and child contact. A 1985 study published in the Journal of Experimental Children's Psychology says that 3-month-old infants are comparatively insensitive to being the object of another visual regard. A 1996 Canadian study with 3 to 6 month old infants found that smiling in the infants decreased when adult eye contact was removed. A recent British study in the Journal of Cognitive Neuroscience found that face recognition by infants was facilitated by direct gaze. Other recent research has confirmed that the belief that the direct gaze of adult influence the direct gaze of infants. Now, I know eye contact is a Western civilization thing and pretty much Western Europe thing. And I know there are other cultures that eye contact is not a main focal point here. I'm going to read you off some examples where eye contact's not important or how it's different from our world. In the Islamic faith, Muslims often lower their gaze and try not to focus on the opposite sex features except for the hands and face. Lustful glances to those of the opposite sex, young or adult, are also prohibited. Japanese children are taught in school to direct their gaze at the region of their teacher's Adam's apple or tie knot. As adults, Japanese lower their eyes when speaking to a superior as a gesture of respect. In many cultures such as East Asia and Nigeria, it is respectful not to look the dominant person in the eye. But in Western culture, this can be interpreted as being shifty eye, and the person judged badly because he wouldn't look me in the eye. References such as shifty eye can refer to suspicions regarding an individual's unrevealed intentions or thoughts. Nevertheless, the seeking of constant, unbroken eye contact by the other participant in a conversation can often be considered overbearing or distracting by many, even in Western cultures. Possibility on an instinctive or subconscious level. Now, now, eye contact varies by different respects. Now, here's a thing I saw about eye contact difficulties with people with disabilities, like Asperger's and autism and others. Some people find eye contact more difficult than others. For example, those with autistic disorders or social anxiety may find eye contact to be particularly unsettling. Now, I'm going to tell you an example or two of my life with when I had to deal with eye contact. Now, I do have a hard time focusing on eye contact when someone's talking. Alright? I try to look them in the face. I try to look them in the eye. It's very hard for me to look at the person when I'm talking to them. I particularly noticed that when I was growing up, I had a hard time with eye contact. Now, it's very hard also when I go for an interview for a job, because I know that I have the good knowledge and expertise, and I may have the experience with a bachelor's degree and all that, but what the job interviewer is looking for is eye contact. And if you don't provide eye contact, chances are they're not going to give you the job. And it's also hard to tell them that you are on the spectrum, that you have Asperger's or autism. They may not figure out what that is. They may not know what that is. Now, when I go for job interviews, I don't tell them that I have Asperger's or autism. I don't, because I don't want them to know. I know I do want them to know at some point, but I feel at a job interview, I don't think they need to know. So, I know it's very hard. Let me just say that. But at the same time, do you want a job? If you tell them they have Asperger's or autism, they're not going to hire you. Easy as that. I'm sorry to say, but in my experiences, you have to have the proper eye contact. You know, because if you don't have the eye contact, then they don't want you. They don't want you. I know it's upsetting, but at the same time, they do not want you to work for them. If you cannot provide eye contact, they don't want you working for them. I'm sorry to say, like, that's what I'm trying to tell you, and that's the way the world works. I don't create the world. I didn't invent this world, but that's the way the world works. And I know I'm looking into the eye right now because you can see my face on the camera. You know, normally I don't look you in the eye because it's hard for me to look at people in the eye. I know whether it's important for them to say something to me or whatever. And then when I try to talk to someone, it's hard for me to look them in the eye. Aspies have a hard time looking at other people in the eye, whether they are trying to listen to them or trying to talk to them. And it's very hard for people like me to go on with life and have to deal with eye contact all the time. Now, there are jobs that require you to have a lot of eye contact. My job in particular is one of them, because you have to look in the guest in the eye when talking to them. Now, I have a hard time talking to them I do have a hard time talking to them no matter what, but I'm just saying, I have a hard time looking at them when I'm trying to talk to them. That's what I was trying to say. But you need to have focus on eye contact when you go out in the world. People expect you to have eye contact. And if you don't have eye contact, then the world is not going to like you, you know? I'm sorry to say, but that is the truth. And I'm going to end it right here. But make sure, when you go out for an interview or anything else, if somebody wants to talk to you, or if you want to talk to them, make sure you do have the eye contact. Because if you don't have it, they're not going to pay attention to you. And I'm sorry to say it, but, you know, it's the way life goes. I'll talk to you all later. Bye for now.